I need to learn how to like come on here and stop looking real crazy before I jump on. Hey, 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 Jackie. Hey, come on in. Come on in. We're going to have some fun tonight. A good conversation. I think people should get their pad and pen out. Hey, Yink Ink. Hey. Hi. Sean, is it Sean? Hey, Tonja. Hey, guys. Gonna give it a few minutes for my guests to come. But while I'm waiting, I could do a few shameless plugs that I want to make sure you guys get your tickets to the Sip and Social in Sicily, follow the Fly Travel line, and go on a trip with us. Hey guys, hey everybody, hey, 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 hey. All right, waiting for our guests to jump on. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey,
Hey, how are
hi,
you?
hey.
So while we let a couple of people join, I just want to give people a little intro because I probably usually don't do it. But I am Crystal L. Bass, and this I Come With Baggage Chat all came from the best-selling t-shirt on the Fly Travel line, which is I Come With Baggage, and we all come with baggage. So I kind of came up with the concept because I love traveling, and when I travel, I'm carrying my baggage literally and figuratively. So join the movement. It's a movement. We all have baggage, so join the conversation. And so without further ado, I am not going to steal your thunder. I am so excited to have you here because what better person can come on for the first guest of the new year,
Hi,
right?
Crystal. I adore you. This is interesting. I love you. I love you so much. You're an awesome person.
And I love you right back. I love you right back.
Oh.
So I am going to let you introduce yourself. I mean, it's only 7:02. If you want to, just sip your tea and give people a
Let's
chance
wait
to
till
get in.
like 7:05. Like let people kind of, because you know how the algorithm is.
Yes, yes,
Let's
yes,
give
yes,
them
yes,
like a
yes.
little time to come join in. Who's all here? Let's see.
Let's see.
Hi,
Let's
everyone.
wave. Let's wave to a few people. Hey guys, we're waving.
Hi.
I
I want to see how these filters work. Hold on.
know, right? How do I do that? Because I need to learn how to
You gotta
get a
hit the
filter.
smile, like the little smiley face on the side.
Okay.
Oh, we probably should have did it where it was like from mines, and then it went. Then you logged into the account because it's
Oh,
usually more whoever's account it is. It's usually like it goes mostly to their people.
oh
So
no.
hold on.
See, this is doing the most. I'm gonna leave this alone. Oh, yeah, this doing the most. Mm-mm.
Right. So guys, we're just
All
letting a
right, there
few
we go.
people join in. Hold on. Blue. All right. What time is it, Crystal?
7:03. Now,
You
are
know,
you
we
are
can
you on a
start.
laptop or your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Why? It looks bad?
No, it doesn't. I'm wondering, just, I don't know how to work this, and I was hoping I could do this another way.
Oh, no, no, no. I don't think you can't get on through your IG live. You have to get on through your phone.
Yeah, I mean, Simone told me that before, but I was just making sure nothing changed because, not the best at this, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do like a small introduction if we could just go ahead and start. I don't want to keep everybody waiting. So, hi guys, I am Madison Jaye. I'm an international spiritual journalist, a communications consultant, and by the grace of the higher source, I have been fortunate to travel the world to assist with creating diverse events, but also study religion and culture for a living. I've worked with a lot of people in the business, including the Crystal L. Bass. Some of the notable people that you may know that I have worked with may know is Beyonce, Oprah. I've worked with Steve Harvey. I helped create the digital structures for companies such as WBLS, Hot 97. The first time Steve Harvey went viral on Twitter was me, and it was my strategy. I've also worked on digital campaigns for One Direction when they were a group, Honda, Maybelline. I've worked with in some way, shape, or form, I've probably worked with one of your favorites to some capacity because I've done so much in the business. I got started in around 2012, 2013, I want to say. I started out as an entertainment journalist who just ran social media accounts for corporations, but I also would go to different events that I would get invited to. One of the first events that I covered was Rihanna's listening party, where I did some interviews for her. And from there, I've been in the business for almost a decade now, but I've been, really pioneering this lane of spiritual journalism because it didn't exist before this time. Just like before when I was pioneering digital marketing, when we first started out and there was a group of us and we were bonded by the trenches of New York radio and we all just wanted to be on air talent, but there was this where there wasn't anybody was they needed someone to do digital, and at that time they were just calling it like PR. Nobody knew what to call digital, and so they had us like. And my first client was Lenny Green with The Quiet Storm. He's mostly known for Kissing After Dark, and I worked with him for 4.5 years. That led into an opportunity to another opportunity. I remember when the radio stations first started taking digital seriously, and it was because Lenny did one interview, and if I'm not mistaken, it was with Music Soul Child. And I remember he got over 1 million views online in one night. And then at that point, the executives were like, okay, who's running your social? Who is this? And we need to speak to her. And we need to speak to her now. And that was my introduction to the executives at the radio station, because technically speaking, I didn't work for the companies. I always get paid under the table, but that's another story for another day. I didn't work. I didn't work for the companies, but I would work with the companies, and so that led into me doing PR and marketing for the companies. But then they also got me into engineering, and I would train everybody that walked through the door, and all my interns would get hired. And I did engineering for Hot 97, WBLS. I've also done engineering for WLIB on the Al Sharpton show. I actually did some of my first training. So I have an extensive background in multiple lanes in the business. So that's where I say the media and communication side of things. And I actually got into spiritual journalism because when I was an entertainment journalist who was just doing PR, but it was really digital marketing, I started to realize that I connected with everyone because they had these giant spiritual secrets in the business. Like one of the first events that I did was Ice-T's birthday party. And when I was doing his birthday party, I remember just the conversations I would have with like Mickey or someone else on the team. Everything would just convert back to spirituality. Just like anytime someone would come to the radio stations, whether it be DJ Khaled or anyone, there was always the reason how I connected with En Vogue. Hey, Tiff. That's my sister. But how I connected with En Vogue is because they saw my crystals on. I had an amethyst ring on at the time, and they were like, wow, you have that. So I was just always the one bold enough in the business to just become so intrigued, and I started to just do research on it. I always knew I was supposed to be in entertainment. I knew I was supposed to do, media consultant stuff, but I was just, when I finally got in, I saw that there was it was like this giant secret to the business that no one was really sharing, but this was attracting everyone's success. I was like, aha, this is it. The first conversation I had with Queen Bee herself was about the rose quartz. And then that moved into me attracting success, where I have now done media and consultant all over the world. I've done international tours, world tours. I've planned events. I do PR for some of the top people in the industry by the grace of the higher source. And yeah, it's gotten into this place where I kind of merged the two together, because I've learned that you really can't help anybody get media contacts, or yeah, you could get them one hit and then it goes and then it's, and then it's gone, right? Or you can help them build the relationship. And the only way that you can really help people build relationships and define their uniquely designed purposes is if you allow them to unveil who their spirit is to you, because there's so many people out here where it's copy and paste, copy and paste. I hate the concept of there's no new thing under the sun, because we are all like snowflakes. We're all individuals. We're all unique. And the only way to get to that is to get to that soul. How can you walk in your purpose if your soul isn't healed and you're carrying baggage? Did you see what I did there? Did you see what I did there?
I see what you did there. And I see what you did there. And so we want to talk about your baggage, though. So we know. So now we know how you got to where you are, and that's an amazing story. But we want to know how you started. What's the baggage? So give us the tea.
And I got the tea literally here for you. So the thing is about why I always give people the introduction to my story is because once people understand where I came from, I like to tell people all the time that you can do it too. So I started out, I like to say that, some people, they start with mud and, they have to grow their ways up and we all have our obstacles. But I think I started below the mud. Growing up, I've been everything from, homeless to sleeping in cars with my mom. We used to eat at soup kitchens. And even with that, when it comes to, I was always an outcast. I was always an outcast and always extremely different. Obviously, I've always had these abilities since I was younger. And there was a lot of trauma in my life around 2016 because I've always battled with depression, I want to say. I think we all have our things that we battle with in this lifetime. And depression has always been one of mine. And it's because I've always just been so different. Spirituality wasn't always, trendy and hot like it is now. I've taken a lot of hits for the culture's evolution where, people will come to me for my energy and then it's just like they leech off of me and then they just take what they need and they go. And I know that like I'm here to serve. So I'm just obedient to God. And that leaves you with a lot of depression. So in 2016, my aunt, who her and my grandmother raised me from first grade to third grade in Florida before I came back up here. And their love it's actually my grandmother's birthday, but their love got me through some of the craziest times of my life. And I remember growing up, I would always say, like, why me? I'm a good student. My mom, she had issues with lighter complected women. I was abused a lot physically where we would be beat in the face with belts if something was wrong. And we've healed our relationship now. And I'm actually grateful for the way things turned out because it's taught me a lot of resilience. But it didn't come easy. It took a lot of healing, a lot of, like for instance, when I wear my hair down, when I wear my hair up, now I'm cautious of that because growing up, I wasn't allowed to wear my hair down because of the texture. I was being too grown and I would be physically abused because of that. So now when I wear my hair down, it's a form of freedom. And I have it up right now because a girl hair is looking rough. But usually when I wear my hair down now, it's a form of freedom for me. And I look back at it all and I understand that this is actually what I chose in this lifetime. And I chose this in this lifetime so that I can get it right. And there was something in me that needed to be embedded in humility. And so in 2016, my aunt and my grandmother, they meant the world to me. Those were like, my mom's. And my aunt transitioned. And even on her transitional bed, I think that was a big whammy for me as far as like with my spiritual stuff. CMOS the boss. Speaking of spirituality, we're going to get into food in a second, but that's the homie. If you need some CMOS, hit him up.
Hey, CMOS.
So when my aunt transitioned, I tried to take my own life in 2016.
Wow.
And for me, I'm able to speak on it now because I've healed past it and I've learned the importance of speaking on it because that takes some deep healing. And we all battle with our different demons, even if they look different. And the reason why I tried to do that was because I felt like that was the only person who accepted me for me. And now they were gone and I'm already an outcast and an outsider who a lot of people don't understand because I have these spiritual gifts. So we call it as indigo children in a spiritual community. But I had all of these spiritual gifts and everybody just looked at me like, and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be in entertainment. I'm supposed to be doing, communications consultant, but why am I so different? Why am I so different from my peers?
Wait a minute, Madison. Because I've been letting you have the floor, but I know inquiry minds want to know some things.
Right.
So for me, you are like an onion, right? It's like you can peel back all these kinds of layers.
Mm-hmm.
And, I get nervous to kind of, dig in and ask some questions because I know at the same
I'm an open
time,
book.
You're an open book. At the same time, you are an open book. So I know that it will help some people. I know some people who are on here now suffer with depression. Right now, during the pandemic, we know that even more people are even more depressed. I haven't been feeling necessarily depressed, but really, really anxious, right?
Right.
So can you talk a little bit? You just like glided right over that. And it's like such a heavy topic that I kind of want to dig a little deeper and talk about that only because I know of people who have either thought of it and it's concerning to me. I don't know how to help those people in those moments. So can you talk a little bit more about that process or, what gets you all the way to that point where you actually attempt to do it?
Honestly, it's feeling the one thing is like you feel alone. like you have no one around you that understands you, like there's nothing left, like that's an easier route to go. I think when you have someone who is dealing with that in your life, it's just good to listen, not to use words like, oh, you're overreacting or things of that, but just having someone there to listen. Listening is medicine. Not necessarily to give advice if they don't need it. Always check their tone, and always, suggest therapy or, someone who can, there's prevention hotlines that you can send people to. But once someone gets there or once they're healing past that, because I didn't tell anybody about it for maybe a year after. I didn't tell anybody about it for a year. The first time I opened up was actually, I consider her like a strong acquaintance or a friend. I'm trying to work with that word. Her name's Pauline Reed. She's one of my friends who's a writer for Forbes, and she was very open about her story. And when she was open about her story, I actually felt comfortable with telling her about my story. And this was back in 2018 now. And, just having someone who was there, and it was like I survived too, and seeing how strong she was and how it didn't make her look weak. Because that's another thing that's a really weak, and we all have our weak moments, no matter what they look like. But I'm learning that there is strength in vulnerability. And if you have the courage, because that's what it takes. And I learned this from Pollyann, who later became a guest on my podcast and really talked about her story. But once you have the courage to speak on it, it becomes therapy for other people. Now, a few of the healing tools that actually helped me, I've always been very fascinated with my brain because I also grew up with epilepsy, which is a seizure disorder. And I would always stress out. And anytime I was stressed out, I would have seizures in my sleep. And they started when my grandparents left us in Jersey. And so early on, I knew I couldn't stress, and they used to have me on Cobatrol. And they told me that I would never be able to drive. And so growing up, I didn't want to hear that. So I started to study healing my brain organically. I have a thing for studying healing organs. It comes with the spiritual work that I do. But I started to study healing my brain organically and what foods that I should eat in order to implement and how to relieve stress. So then I became more familiar with the 4 chemicals in the brain that control our happiness. And one of them is dopamine. And with dopamine, that is the one that triggers like depression and anxiety. So I got very familiar with the chemicals in my brain. And then getting into knowing the chemicals in my brain and getting to know dopamine, I started to study my chakra system. I didn't start studying my chakra system until the 2016, 2017
Before
era.
we get into the chakras, though, because that's like big. I told people to get a pen out for that.
Okay.
Before we get into the chakras, okay. So this is a question that I personally want to know.
Okay.
And it's kind of deep for me because people are gonna be surprised to know that you have a twin.
I do. The Von Boussier twins are just in here too. So yes, I do.
Hey, Von Boussier twins. So you have a twin, right? So this is a $64,000 question. And if it's too personal, just be like, it's just too personal. But how can you feel, and it's ignorance on my behalf. It's ignorance on my behalf because I am one of those person that looks at twins and like, oh my God, I wish I had a twin. When you're little, everybody wishes they had a twin, right? So what does that look like, having a twin who you shared the womb with, but you still feel lonely enough to want to take your life?
So I would say it's very similar to like how people can have like a best friend and just feel misunderstood. It's a personal thing. And even with like my siblings, it was never, and I don't know if this has a part to play in it, but it was just always like, I was always the older sister. We're twins, but I was born on January 12th. She was born on January 13th. Right. And so with that, I came out naturally. She came out C-section. For some reason, that just made us so different. We're like night and day. And even though we're twins, we're night and day. And the Von Boussier twins can tell you, honey, like we are night and day. Like where I'm like, hi, it's Madison. She's like, if you touch something, I might choke you. That's just how our personalities are. But with that, I've always felt like the big sister. I've always felt like the big sister. I'm the person that has to be strong for everyone because, there was always so much going on. And she's been through so much where I don't tell people what I'm going through. I don't tell people what I'm going through because I also know that I'm a source. And I know a lot of sources come to me for guidance. And I have this thing where if I'm not okay, I step back. I step back to heal me because I have to be strong for everyone else. And I'm learning to confide in people now, but even with that, I'm very limited with that. And I'm very dated with that. So with that, it was necessarily, I'm a very reserved person. I don't share things until after I've healed past them. Shalonda, my favorite, I love you. I love you so much. Okay. That's Shalonda. She gets that. She's probably like, oh boy. But with that, I've just always had to be the strong person. And I understand that we all have positions in life. We all have positions in life. And there are some people realistically, rather, it's good to say, be the person that everyone, but all strong people don't have that. And when you're so different, you never want to feel like you're burdening anyone. And then I'm very sensitive to energy. So I can have a conversation with someone and know that it's not genuine instantly, or somebody can say nothing at all. And I know that they mean the most sincere things for me. Shakira's here.
I think we had to get past like the sensitive energy part, because a lot of times my energy is like so much energy and high energy, right? So I had to just try to work with you in a different way, because I'm a Leo. I'm loud. Like, it embarrasses my son sometimes because he's like, "No, why are you so loud?"
All of my closest, I have a lot of close friends are Leos. I get it, because that's why one of the first things I asked you was, "What's your sign?" Because really, according to people's signs, you know how to deal with them.
Yes. So we had to get to that place, because I know I'd be like all,
And I love that.
No, before you was like, okay, that's disrespectful. I'm like, no, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just passionate, and Leos are that kind of a person where people are like, and it's so offensive. It really gets on my nerves because, I'm just hype. Right? And then people be like, calm down. I'm like, I'm calm.
Right. Well, it wasn't your personality. I love your high energy. It wasn't your personality. I think it was more so us just getting to know one another and getting to know, because also what I've realized is very important in any relationship, especially if you want it to be longevity. You have to get to know people's love languages, yes, but you also have to get to know people's triggers and respect their triggers too. And because we feel so familiar to each other, and it's like, wait a second, let me back up. We've really just met each other, or we haven't met each other. Like, it's sometimes like that trips me out. And it's like, wait a second. So you really, because you share past lives together. So getting to know people, what they've been through in this lifetime. And anytime something like that's happened, I always told you, this is just a trigger for me for things that I've been through in the past. And I'm not trying to do reflection. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah, the baggage. But the thing is not to run from your baggage. You have to own your baggage and boundaries is not a bad word, but set boundaries to heal that, so that you can overcome that, so that you can be enough to allow people to come in, because I think we've gotten pretty close. And but it takes that vulnerability. A lot of people don't like to mirror their baggage to be like, look, this is what is wrong with me, because they feel like they have issues, or that vulnerability is uncomfortable. But I'm the type of person where I will be like, and Shalonda and Shakira can both tell you, I'll be like, look, this is what's wrong with me. This is what I've been through. This is what I'm working on consistently. I know these are my issues. Work with me through this. It is a process.
But you know what? We had to get to that place, because I remember before, I had started texting you and leaving messages like, okay, well, just at least let me know you're okay. And I'm sending some stuff, and then when you called me, you were just like, I'm not used to that.
Not good.
I'm not used to that, and I'm not used to feeling like someone cares enough about me to check on me and want to know about me. And I'm like, huh?
Right.
I mean, I found it hard to believe, but getting to know you now, I really understand why. But you're like, I'm just not used to this kind of thing and this kind of attention. And I told you, we were having some issues with, not issues really, we were having some scheduling things because of the holidays.
Right.
And you just threw it out there like, oh, I could do it. And I had never wanted to ask you to do it, because you are so reserved sometimes and so private that I didn't want to be the one to ask. But then when you said it, I was like, hot damn, I'm getting her to do it, right? And then it's like seemed like you was trying to get out of it. And I was like, well, Madison, if you don't want to do it, just say that. And then today, right before you this other person came through, and I'm like, no, you're like the perfect person for the new year to kick off so that we can help
She beat me up, guys. She beat me up. That she admitted to beating me up on live. You see? She admitted. She beat me up.
Yeah, I was like, come on now, sis. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, but yeah, she did. She bullied me into this, but I'm happy you did because it's speaking is therapy, and not just for you, but the other people around you who are hearing things. We all come with baggage. There's nobody in this lifetime walking around that's perfect, you know, and it's really about getting to know what those, it's not about, like, me personally, I don't run from my demons. I like to get to know their names so we could sit down and chill, because we're going to be, you know, dealing with this for the rest of this lifetime. We're going to heal this so that it's easier, not just for me, but easier for my descendants, so that I'm not doing reflections on them where I'm taking out my traumas, or easier for my tribe members, because we can be honest and we can have that conversation. So now it's not Crystal think that Madison's like got a attitude, or Madison think that. It's like, no, we know each other's triggers. We know one another. We love each other purely enough, not just to get to know the love language, because that's easy. Love and light is easy, but show me your darkness. Show me your shadow side, because life is not just about the light. It's about the darkness that makes you value the light, right? So when someone can be honest with that communication, that's throat chakra. But when you can be honest and open up that communication and be like, look, I'm being vulnerable here because I care about you. And I know this has nothing to do with you. I absolutely know that. But this is what happened to me in this lifetime. And this is why I'm healing this. And so we can progress forward, but know that I'm a work in progress, just like I want to honor the things that you've been through, because we're on this journey together as a collective. We're tribe. Tribe doesn't just mean party, hang out. It means we're building together emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And if I care about your mental and spiritual health, I want to know those triggers so that I don't cross that boundary, and honor the things that you've been through by showing you love through your process. Oh, that got all emotional and cute.
It's so true. So
it is.
So I know we've talked about some additional baggage as far as relationships, right?
Woo.
So do you think the baggage of the childhood trauma that you had, do you think that affects your relationships now? Like, what I want to call them, like intimate relationships. Like, you know, do you carry that baggage in, or how do you deal with that?
Second. Give me 1 second to put my charger in. Oh, wait, I can't. Hold on. Let me grab the computer. Look, my ancestors like, girl.
And that charger situation. You
sound like Shalonda now and Leticia. Yeah, hold on. Is it charging? Yeah. Okay, so I will say this. I've never gone backwards in love, ever. And I'm very proud of that, because I believe that love, self-love, regardless of your upbringing, it's a taught behavior. Now, there are people who have it, and I call it spiritual privilege, right? Where there are some people who grew up in a two-family household, so you have spiritual privilege because there was one of your ancestors is the one who cleared the bloodline for you, that you don't have to be growing up in poverty and things like that. And some people have ancestors that, and so they're ones who have to clear up that karmic debt from past lives, right? I'm that person. There was no foundation. I had my grandparents on my dad's side, like they were each other's person. It's like my grandma lived here, and they were like each other's person. So I had that to look
Your
through,
phone
and there were
is cutting up
other people in my family, one or two who had like positive. Better?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. It's such a delay.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop and let it for a second.
That's better.
Are we Gucci?
I think.
You know me. I will pull my sage out and start burning it.
Yeah.
Am I still delayed? I think I'm delayed.
Go ahead, talk a little bit.
Can you hear me? Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3.
I can hear you.
Am I delayed?
It looks like we're back on track.
Okay, cool. So if I'm delayed, just put your hand up like this and wave it around. Put your hands from side to side, tossing in the sky, da 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 da. Okay. What was I talking about? So I can't even remember. I just lost my train of thought. What was your question again?
Well, I didn't have a question. I was talking about your baggage going into relationships.
Oh, relationships. Okay.
Not going back.
Right. So, In the beginning, like I dated one for 8 years. I will say my high school sweetheart. We did everything together where it was practically like a divorce when we weren't together anymore, right? But I found out that that was like a karmic mate. The one reason why I brought up the fact that I've never gone backwards in love, I think that's something admirable to say. You know, I had to learn. Oh, I'm frozen.
You are. You're frozen, but I can hear you fine. Oh, well, I did hear fine. There we go.
Okay. Hey, I rebuke it. No weapons formed against me shall prosper. I cover us with the blood of Jesus from the top of our head toes. This message will get out into the universe.
Amen.
So when I say I've never gone backwards in love, is because it was a process. In every relationship, like there's a West African proverb that's called Senkofu. It means in order, we can only connect the dots looking backwards, not forwards. So when I look back, every single person, and it's not that many, because I was very open about the long time abstinence journey that I had. It was actually a podcast episode, but each time I elevated and I learned a different value of self-love. And there's things that I no longer tolerate, and each I progressed with what I will and won't tolerate, and each one grew me. But I can see where in the past I accepted certain things because of those traumas that I didn't unveil. So what I did was, because I did not want to go backwards, is I uprooted that. I looked it in the face. I said, why did you accept this? Actually, one of the first episodes, I think it was on season 2, I actually brought in a therapist and to talk about why I tolerated certain things in that relationship after we broke up. And this is back in like 2016. And so because I didn't want to, go on and just blast somebody, but I knew vulnerability was the way my podcast was anchored. And so I talked about why did I tolerate that? And how do I set the example for the next women to not tolerate certain things, So I've never gone backwards. I've always grown to the point where I am very grateful for where I am and the things that I've been through, good and bad, especially when it comes to love, because it's evolved me to attract my divine life partner. And that's the frequency that I'm on. And I only attract people, places, and things that are divinely ordained for me. And there's nothing that anyone can do to stop that because I'm covered by God. And once you know those, you are in direct alignment with attracting the things for you. So to answer the question, like, yes, I can see where it did affect it, but I can also see where it was a good thing, because I said, no, wait, hold on. You don't like the way that feels. You don't like that. That's not a good feeling. So what is in you that is accepting that as love? And whether that's worthiness, whether that's, projection, whether that's you uproot that. Low self-esteem, I've gotten to a place where it's like, nah, bro, I am worthy. Even on my worst day, even in my lowest moments, I am worthy because I am a child of God. I am a child of God and I'm ordained for things, and I deserve the love that I give, not just romantic, but to clients, to friends, I am in direct attraction with that. And even at my lowest points, I've gotten my mind to the place where I feel a negative thought coming on, because it's not about not having negative thoughts. It's about catching that thought and placing your passion into a positive thought. And because where you place there's no such thing as good or bad. The only place that it's where you put your passion. For instance, when I was in that relationship and there will be heated arguments, I would place my passion into the negative outcome that would manifest at a rapid speed, right? So if you take that same amount of passion,
delay, but okay.
Am I freezing?
I think if you take
if you take that same amount of passion and you place it into the things you do want, then you have no other choice but to manifest the reality that you see, if it is divinely ordained for you, because things won't manifest if it's not for you. So you could be out here till you blue in the face, but when it's time to manifest with love or with friendship or with business, you got to be in direct alignment and keep your spirit as pure as possible. Because the one thing that I can say for me is how I've gotten into that direct alignment. Like I would sit back and I'd be like, why am I going through all of this? But I've kept my spirit pure through, and I'm grateful for that, because God will use a pure spirit before anyone else. And that's not saying I'm perfect, because honey, I am not, but I can own up to my mistakes. I can work at being a better person, and I can try my best to evolve, and I can take ownership for my shortcomings. And that is what makes you pure, when you're able to apologize. But bigger than apologize, be consistent with evolution and bettering that situation.
Okay, well, let's talk about some crystals, right? Because I need some advice on something I need to get. I got the
Okay.
sage, right? But I don't have the sage that you do like this. I have the little small ones because of my asthma.
Oh, we
I can't
changing
handle
that.
all the
Oh
smoke.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll show you the sage that I had. But I need some crystals for my sister told me something today that was really poignant and it made so much sense. I was
Hmm.
telling her, as I've told you, that I'm pulled in a lot of different directions with the whole I come with baggage thing, right?
Right.
And she said, Crystal, think about it. Think about the words that you are speaking. I come with baggage. Like you're speaking it. You are
Hmm.
inviting that energy in. You're inviting people in who have the baggage. And I said, well, why can't they just do
Right.
that hour and bounce? Like do your hour and leave, then leave. Like that song, right? Do your time and leave. So we all come with baggage. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we get an opportunity to talk about it. Like people are saying,
Hmm.
oh, this is the red table talk for us folk, not over there with Jada and them, but we can talk about our baggage.
Right.
So I need something, to protect my good soul. You know what I mean? When I'm
Mm.
inviting and, carrying on people's baggage.
Yeah. Tiffany's in the chat. We
Hey,
just went to,
Tiffany.
we went to the crystal store the other day. And I was helping her pick out some crystal stuff. I told you when I was in the store with her, that's the one I was in the store with.
Okay.
And she actually ended up gifting me one of the tools that I'm going to give you now. But I want to make a reference to the think about your sister because she's right. But also I want you to look at the narrative because with the I come with baggage narrative, it's really about how you anchor that thought. Because when you say I come with baggage, like it's still like if you're going on an airplane, that's still baggage. It's not necessarily bad baggage. It's just baggage. So make sure when you manifest that because it's very catchy. So I want you to keep the ideology of it of I'm attracting people of baggage that have healed beyond it so that when they share on my platform, they are healing others because I am a healer. So while I'm
Amen.
attracting baggage, I'm attracting healed baggage that's willing to share for evolution. So the stones that I would suggest to you, definitely onyx or an obsidian stone. Any black stone is very powerful. So I had some things that I had to handle in PR, and I had to go to PR. And it turned into a complete spiritual experience. And where
Well, let
reconnected
people
with
know
my
you're talking
grandfather.
about Puerto Rico. She
Oh,
went to
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a whole trip, and I remember I was in the car, and I ended up at a crystal store in PR, obviously, well, Puerto Rico. And when I go to like crystal stores in New York, they always have like amethyst stones by the window, which is a great stone for money. Everybody, the bigger the amethyst, the bigger the blessing. And I actually learned that from Prince's protege. That's another story. That's another crazy story. That's actually what got him into the color purple. So I went into this store and they had the obsidian stone by the door and I've never seen that before, like right when you walk in. And I'm like, I asked them and I'm like, why do you guys have the obsidian? Usually people put the amethyst to draw in money, but why the obsidian? And the lady told she said, oh, that's because we don't want just anyone's money, we only want the right money. I said,
Yes.
"Ooh, honey." But I wear on my necklace piece every single day. I wear an onyx and an obsidian, and that's why like it's one of those because crystals are minerals from the earth, and different minerals is kind of very similar to food. Different foods can heal you in different ways. Same thing with crystals for your energy. They actually work a lot, and honestly, this has actually helped me with a lot of the depression or the trials and tribulations can get to me or even down to like me being able to speak and be vulnerable to help other people, right? So
Hmm.
I wear an onyx obsidian every day, and then I have a stone by my door. But when you're, and I'll give you some other like tools off the record for that. But that's a really good. The obsidian stone is the one that I'm willing to gift the world right now. An obsidian stone will protect you from bad energy from entering your home. So I would say sit an obsidian stone because I was already wearing one every day. Tiff has an obsidian stone now. But I was already wearing an obsidian and an onyx stone every single day. But when I was in PR, Puerto Rico, and I saw that they had one by the door, I said, this is fucking smart. Wow, why didn't I think of this, right? And it's a great stone. And I'll give you another crazy story about that stone since it's been here, because it's the one I got to share with Tiff later too. But since I've had this stone and I'll be just like, whoa. I would say put that stone by your door so that like nobody with negative energy can enter.
Okay. So tell
Was that
people
good?
about, yeah, it was great. It was great. I need that. So tell people
Mhm.
about like stones as we're going into a new year to attract abundance. Let's talk about what you're wearing because you know I'm always hearing them clankety clank and clanking and clanking around. So tell us what all that clanking is about and what you're wearing because sis, it looks heavy to me. It looks a
It's
little
not.
heavy.
It's not
Okay.
actually. It's very light. I don't feel it at all. I like to
Okay.
say we have our things, and somehow on this journey of life and really finding my peace and my genuine happiness, it's become like the Madison J signature look, like the bindi with the eyelashes and the crystals. Like people tell me, like Madison, if I was to see you without your bindi and your crystals, I would ask you, like, are you okay? Do you need to go to a doctor? And it just
But you
happens
don't
so
even feel good.
organically.
You hopped on a Zoom with me without your Bendy. You're like, oh, this is weird.
Right.
I can't without it.
But
I
it
can't.
also it but you know what? There's been times where I have jumped on a call with you without it, and that's a form of because I don't do that for anybody. Like it's a form of vulnerability to me because honestly, my look, Shalonda laughing because I gave Shalonda her first bindi the other day, and Tiff, you didn't get yours because you didn't come. But anyways, no, Leticia has yours, so get yours from her. She got them. I gave her a whole pack. But it shows the levels of trust that I have in your spirit, you know, because that's not. And Shalonda's been a good friend of mine for a few years now, and she can tell you, like every single day, whenever you see Madison, she got that bindi on. Like I don't, because my third eye is very powerful, and then I have a lot of visions, and so sometimes it's to be respectful, but at first I used it because I didn't want to see certain things, right? I didn't want to see certain things, and I was out with a friend, and we were having dinner, and so the waiter came up to us, and then I just looked at him and I saw that, you know, and God bless him wherever he is, but I saw that he was molested, and this was before I wore my bindi. And so, like, he looked at me and he saw that I saw that, and then he just ran off. And so, my friend at the time, she looked at me and she was like, "What did you see?" Because she knew about my visions. I told her, and then I was like, "Let's just go." So, in the beginning, I wore my bindi to cover up my powers, but then God just used it. Lucky, I want you on this show, by the way. I'm gonna hit you up, but you need to be on this show. So that's another look. The PR,
Hey, Lucky.
the publicist and me just jumped out. But I want you on this show. With my crystals,
Hey, Ross.
they've become this healing mechanism that I use to enhance my gifts. And they those hearts mean yes. Those hearts mean yes, Lucky. Um,
I'm
but
manifesting Lucky's appearance.
Lucky's another beautiful spirit. One of the stones that he's drawn to is the jade stone, and he wears a Buddha one. I'm putting you on Front Street, but I love you. That's my brother. He wears a Buddha jade. I remember we were at some event. I think it was for Def Jam when I first noticed it. And I was like, Lucky, you have on a jade. And he was like, yep. But now he wears also like the crystals around his neck. Everybody in my tribe is heavily into crystals. It's something I feel
Well,
like
you
I'm
sure have
the
been putting me on the crystals and having me run to
yeah,
crystal stores and order crystals for the crib and all that kind
right.
of stuff. I'm learning. I'm learning.
Because you know, and everybody, they've been this great secret to the entertainment business for so long, but you know, people just never wanted to talk about it. 2020 is probably the year where more people have been public about it. And you know, Crystal, I've told you a few personal stories about, you know, different people that I worked with, and because that's us. But like, it's like a lot of people are very private about their spirituality, rightfully so, because if you want to tie this into religion, which was listed on the flyer, like, you know, I'm Christian, but I study all religions, and I also respect and honor all of them, because I look at religions a lot like language. Just because you're saying hola and I'm saying hello, we're saying the same thing, we're just saying it differently. And as long as we can respect, if that foundation is respect and love, and you know, we shouldn't have any issues. However, what I've noticed in my lifetime is that Christians can be the most judgmental, and they've been a part of the isolation process for me, where I more so relate to the concept of Christianity, where it's like walking like Christ, reading the scripture, and connecting with that more than the community of Christians. And I'm trying to find my way back to the community of Christ, but I need to see the community of Christ and not the community of arrogance or judgment, where I've had people throw coffee in my face because they didn't
I
like
want
my
to talk
podcast.
about that. Tell us about that. Tell us about the coffee in the face. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Woo! You know, me and God are super close, and I realized that He knows that I'll talk about certain things and I'll stay humble about it, and it'll just pull me closer to Him, and to Jesus. That's my brother. Shout out to Jesus. I'm like the little weird sister that's not going anywhere. But someone didn't like the podcast, and at first, because me and you have that same very bubbly personality until like we're going through stuff, and then it kind of changes, and it's like, hey, and I'm always like, hi, and nice to people, and giving out hugs, and telling them they're unicorns, and telling them Tupac's in Cuba, right? And so someone came up to me and they asked
when
me,
I was there.
hey.
Okay.
As long as she said he could be there, then we good. So they just started asking me, was I Madison? And I'm like, yeah. And, a lot of people come to me like, oh, are you Madison? I'm like, yeah, And they just started questioning me. It was 3 of them. And then one girl, I saw the aggression in her. I saw it start to change. And I don't want to say she threw it in my face, but that was her primary goal. It was because I turned. And in the instance, because she started like getting more aggressive with the finger. And then I'm like, oh, she with her friends. I've been in situations where I've been jumped before. So let me not be stupid. So let me walk away, right? I'm outnumbered. So as I turned to walk away, she lunged it. And it got all over, like maybe the ending of my face. It was this side, the ending of my face and like my coat. It wasn't hot. So it was like warm because it was cold outside. Yeah, it wasn't hot. So then in that moment, I wanted to give up on my podcast. I didn't want to do it. I remember I came to social media because that's like that's where, my J Royals go hard for me and I go hard for y'all. But love y'all. That was my place. And then like people were just like ready for war. Like, where they at? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, so it's been a process with me and religion as far as that. And come to find out, because like she started like saying like different scripture to me. So my guess is that she was Christian. My guess, maybe not. I don't know. But that would be an educated guess in that retrospect. So it's been a challenging concept. And the one thing is, like, what I think with Christians, that's religion I'm going to speak to because that's my religion, is that we have to understand that religion is a choice. Religion is a choice, a personal connection to how you feel connected to the higher source, whatever that looks like for you. And I just want this world to get to a space of honoring that and honoring our differences, because, one thing that is admirable to me about the Islamic culture is how much they pray. Like, wow, I think that's something that we can all implement into our spiritual diets, regardless of what we call God. Like, wow, like that connection has to be so powerful that you pray that much. That's admirable. I admire that. And I want to digest that into my spiritual diet because I want to worship God that much. I want him to feel good and feel connected to me. So I believe, like, if we look at each other's differences, it's not saying you have to agree with me. We can respectfully agree to disagree. But if everyone you meet has something to teach you, whether it's good or bad, they are teaching you one of the ways of the world and how to honor yourself, whether it's to honor yourself with what you do want or honor yourself with what you don't want. So when we disconnect and we try to put that wall of religion between us, missing out on a blessing because we don't want to accept that someone may be a bit different. And that's just coming from me because I've always been ostracized for being so different. I was like the popular, everybody always knew me and loved me, but it was just like before I like on my journey, it was like, I'm always popular. Everyone knows and loves Madison. She does, but it's just like, it's also kind of like a little scary part to it too. It's like, will she read my mind? I'm not disrespectful like that, guys. If I don't do that unless I'm asked, especially to my tribe members.
So listen, the whole thing about crystals, how you said like it's spirituality and all this stuff about crystals, and it's like, it's like really not talked about in the entertainment world. It's like
in any world.
Underground, right? And but Beyonce included it in a line in Black Parade now. So do you think it's becoming more widespread? People are starting to talk about it. And then we know that Jay-Z had the 444 for the angel numbers. You think people are getting a little more accepting?
Yes, I always say I want to because I want to implement Baltimore into this too. But I think like the East Coast, the East Coast is kind of like the slowest when it comes to spirituality. And when I say the slowest, it doesn't mean dumb. It means like the last to receive it. And that's why I've always had to travel the world a lot for work, because those are the people who will hire me. Where, spirituality was never like this big thing. But now, I feel like God took everything away from everyone and said, sit down. And now that everybody has to sit in stillness, it's like, and that goes into a podcast episode that I'm putting out soon, but it's about the real new decade and how we've moved into Aquarius. And now things will be ruled by spirituality moving forward. And I think that the world is learning that, especially with the spread of COVID and things like that. Like before this, when I would, like, let's say in 2019, I would post something and it would say, like, guys, like, we have to get it together. We have to, like, give back to earth. We have to value time and love, and we have to value air. And I was saying stuff like this in 2019. People be like, oh, Madison, shut up. She just go plant a garden and, like, do whatever you want to do. Like, it's all about business and capitalism. Let me make my money. Let me make my money. You can still make your money, but that's another story for another day. But now when I post and I reshare posts, that I wrote in 2019, and it's like value air, I guarantee you that hits a little bit different now after COVID, and just taking that deep breath. And I honestly think the thing with humans is I don't think humans can really appreciate life until they've experienced death close to them. And why I believe why I'm so connected and so spiritual is because, you know, the majority of the people who were the ones who were supposed to protect me transitioned, because I don't believe in death, but they transitioned while I was very young. And so I kind of had no choice but to get connected, because there was no way that I could not talk to my grandmother, that I could not talk to I would have really went crazy, you know? So I realized, like, wow, I felt so weird at that time. God was using me to help evolve humanity, to help them see this spiritual insight. And while I might have been for a while the spiritual outcast, now people are like, let me go talk to Madison, because one, you can just feel that my spirit's pure. No matter if I'm happy, mad, sad, it's like Madison got good energy though. But you can feel that my spirit is pure.
What, Madison? Let's just keep it real. Like, you know, we work together. So we developed a friendship and we work together. So like
Crystal crazy, y'all.
Like, she ain't answer or whatever. But you know what? What is that line in that movie that say, I can't hate you, or something like that? Like, I cannot be mad at you.
Right.
No,
and I can't be mad at Crystal. I can't. It's the, like, we really, like, when we don't get we can't. And the weird thing, the thing that I like about our relationship is the fact that we communicate. Because the thing is, in business, if you don't think things are going to go wrong, you're naive. You are completely naive, and you've never been in business, and you've never had a partner. It's not about things not going wrong, because things go wrong in life all the time. Alchemy, again, the good and the bad. It's about being able to communicate and really get through that moment, and respecting each other enough to get through that moment. That's how I feel about it. So I always get, like, when I'm going through a hardship with somebody or an obstacle, right? And I look at, hey, how do we communicate through this? Because I know I'm not going to disrespect them, but let's see where they go with this. And so that always gives me of where so that's the one thing I actually really admire about you and I, is that, like, no matter what it is, we gonna talk about it. Like, it could be uncomfortable, even if it's if it's an idea. Like, we will bump heads, but it's like, okay.
When I said about 2021, I said moving into 2021, I have to be more patient with Madison, because I know that you're like that onion that I have to peel away at times. And, you know, if I don't hear from you, it'll take weeks or a month, but you'll say something like, I was really going through something. I had a little meltdown.
Wait, I've never taken weeks or a month to get back to you.
No,
days, like I'm the holidays.
No. I'm saying like weeks or a month before you reveal that you have been going through something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
not that we,
Gotcha.
You know, it might be 3 days or 2 days and I haven't heard from you, but just in casual conversation, you'll say, like, at a time where you was going through something, and I'm like, okay, totally understandable, but you can always tell me, you know what I'm saying? Because I do care and I do worry about you, but I do understand that you're not used to someone saying, listen, because you know, I'm like a woman of a particular age, you know, so I check on you, and you know, people can't tell, but in a motherly way, I'm like, you know, checking for you. So yeah.
But and you know what, guys, and just take that as an example, like when, like she's saying, I'm not, but that vulnerability, like when we talked today, it was just kind of like, you know, even because Crystal was like, are you sure you want to share? Are you sure you want to share? And I'm like, yeah, I'm an open book. Let's do it. And I had to, like, when I was breaking it down to me, I'm like, I share things that I've healed past so that people can get through it. She's like, because if you don't want to share something, we don't got to talk about it. And I just found that so beautiful. But sometimes for me, I'm still learning to receive that. And it's because of the things that I've been through, and knowing that I'm in a state of attracting not the people from my past because I've put in the healing work, but I'm attracting people of genuine love and of purity and of integrity and of intention who genuinely care. It's like, okay, I've been through this, so sometimes I may get triggered, but I know this person really cares. I can feel that this person really cares, because I can feel when a person really doesn't care, but I can feel that this person really cares. So allow me to honor them and honor, because and that's so big for me, because I want to honor everyone, because you don't know if tomorrow is promised. And I learned that very early. So I honor that by showing up and being present and being vulnerable, because vulnerability is not easy, but being vulnerable. And like, it's like, hey, Crystal, this is what I was going through. And sometimes I might even text it and be like, hey, thank you for saying this, because this has been challenging on me, or my 30th birthday is coming up and things like that. But just honor, like, if you've been through traumas, you've been through that baggage and you have traumas, one way to heal is to show up with that vulnerability. People like to run away from that vulnerability because it's uncomfortable. And it's like, I don't want to be honest about feeling this because I'm going to be rejected. That inner child comes out. That inner child comes out.
Like, what's like the beauty of even talking about this kind of stuff is because we have not had the same traumas, right? We have not. But when you say, like, you know, I was homeless, living in the car with my mom, me and my mom didn't have the best relationship, it just explains so much about, you know, the relationships that you have. Like, you know, not intentional, but if you were not nurtured as a child, or, you know, I over parent and over nurture my child because of the way I was parented. So these kinds of conversations help us to better understand people and how they move.
Right. And it also helps us with, like, you can't choose how you were brought into this world, right? So I always tell people being a crappy person is no excuse. So you can't choose how you were brought into this world, but you can't choose how you were brought into this world, but you can choose love. You can choose that you are worthy of love. You can choose that you are worthy of respect, that you just have to be open to receive. And while it may be a work in process, you know, and that's why I'm very honest with people, you can get to that state where it's like, okay, like, I may be used to people walking away, but it's not going to be like this time. And it's because I have faith and I deserve this. So really you choose, you can still make that choice. And I tell people all the time, no matter what walk of life you come from, you're worthy. Like, and that's big for me, because it's I am worthy, because I am are the most powerful words in the universe. And what you say after that manifests at a rapid speed. And so, like, this time last year, I didn't have a Crystal L. Bass in my life, but I've attracted that. And that was because I was worthy of that. I was worthy of that type of friendship. So while, you know, I didn't get to choose my parents, I'm still grateful for them, because I'm very, to a degree, I'm not even to a degree, I'm independent, and you know, I have resilience. And, you know, being in a New York market, you know, when I first started out, not eating for a night or two, you know, I knew how to do that too, because of the way I grew up. So that was okay for me back then. And looking back, it's like, Madison, you were really wild. But it was all preparation. It was all preparation for the legacy that I'm building in this lifetime. And I know the people that come after me, and the people who I meet in this lifetime, they're going to be impacted, and they're going to know they make that choice too. A great part of my purpose, kids in the hood that's growing up in foster care or without parents or living with parents, like, you're worthy too. You're worthy of love. You don't have to accept abuse. You can have great friends. You can have great love. You might be everybody's a work in progress, but you're worthy. And you don't have to be angry. You don't have to sit on these walls. You're bigger than that. Have a purpose. And I know that's why I've been through so much. And you can get to the place where you're attracting a Crystal, a Faison, a Shalonda, a Tiffany, so many great people that I have in my life now who are also willing to walk with me on my journey to self-love, because it's a consistent walk. So you are worthy of that too. Aww.
Okay, so we covered the spirituality. We covered, you know, we said we were talking about crystals. We haven't talked about the angel numbers. Let's get into these angel numbers, because
give me one.
Let's talk about that.
Give me one. Oh, Tiffany's still here. I love you, Tiff. Yeah, she crazy. I love her. And you gotta be, honestly, to be my tribe, I know you gotta be a little bit crazy, because ain't none of us real, right? Oh, she here too. Aw. So, all crazy, guys. You see these beautiful women, these beautiful pictures, they're a little bit crazy too, just like me. We all match. So give me an angel number. I just dropped a thesis on this one. Give me an angel number that's sticking out to
1111.
1111, that is divine portal number. So that number, oh, Faison, you too, guys. Faison wants me to acknowledge him. He's putting the laughing faces. Um, so the divine portal number, that is the one that's actually the most that's the most popular angel number. That's what people see for their divine awakening. It's the most common one, but it means so many different things. So with 1111, there's always, with any angel numbers, there's the personal meanings, and then there's the universal meanings. The universal meanings are the ones that you should get to know. So every time you see that, it's like a energy check from your ancestors, right? So then there's the archangels and your ancestors. So your ancestors are for manifesting, and your archangels are for protection, and they all protect and manifest in different areas. So when you see that, the universal meaning is usually for protection, and the personal meaning is usually from your ancestors. And figuring out which one is actually the one that you're seeing, it's very important for you to start opening up your solar plex chakra. Your solar plex chakra is located in your stomach. We actually have 3 brains, not one. So the first brain is actually our spiritual brain. That's why your intestines actually looks like a larger brain in your skull. It's because it is. So what happens is the intestines, aka the solar plex chakra, aka the gut filling, that's what people like to call it, it sends a frequency. With the bacteria in your stomach controls your body. It sends a frequency up to the brain in your skull, and then it transmits it out to the rest of your body. So what you're eating is very important. The more aligned you become with that, the more you're intuitive, and the more you're able to know, is this a personal meaning or is this a universal meaning? So with 1111, it's the most popular one. And it is the one that it's the twin flame number. It's the divine portal number. But you can also, as you, I like to call our ancestors like I think this is where actually the NBA gets the concept from, but the starting 5. So your people on the other side who have transitioned, I heard the first word that you can think of that they do in life, that's what they're helping you with on the other side to manifest. So you have to call on that person, and they will help you manifest that in this lifetime. So we have some in the chat. 333 is for growth. 1212 means smile, the face bright. But those are the universal meanings. Now, as you start to attach more, like you'll start seeing synchronized numbers that are not necessarily matching. Like if you see 821 all the time, just something off the top of my head, 821. So that's definitely from your ancestors. But then once you know the personal meaning of the angel numbers, you're able to break it down. So 8, that's the infinity number. That's the easy one to remember because it looks like the infinity symbol, right? 2 is the angel number for good business and love and in relationships. And then 1 means to keep your thoughts positive. Your manifestation is at an all-time high. Wherever you your manifestation's at an all-time high. That's what I meant to say, guys. So your manifestation's at an all-time high. Be careful where you place your passion, because that's what's going to manifest, right? So then if you look at that 821, that means, okay, infinite abundance in relationships and love. Right now, I need to make sure I'm checking my thoughts because my manifestation's at an all-time high. So that's what 821 would mean. And I sometimes from time to time I do angel number breakdowns. Go ahead.
Let me give you one to break down for me, because my birthday is 724, right? 724. I always wake up at 2:47 in the morning to go to the bathroom, like all the time. 2:47, right? Then I'm up again at 4:27, and I look at the clock and I'm like, okay, what is happening with these 3 numbers constantly that I see? If I'm driving in a car behind somebody, their tag number is always a combination of the 7, the 2, and the 4. And so I'm like, what is this telling me? And I'm like, I gotta ask Madison about that.
7247, God created the earth in 7 days, right? So it means that you're here for creation. 2, business, love. 4 is the one that means you have to keep going to own your truth, something that I'm always getting on you about. To own your truth, be more vulnerable, and walking your purpose, because your ancestors are going to bless you as you become more vulnerable. And a good example of that, well, Jaye actually made a song called Maze where she talks directly about the angel number 444, but Jay-Z's album that has the 4, one of the numbers that you mentioned in it. And if you think about it, in that album, he was owning his truth, being vulnerable, walking in his purpose, owning his reality. It happened. It blessed him, not just with a successful marriage, and healing that marriage, but then he got twins after that. So a lot of, I call it marketing. I'm coining that phrase, everybody, but a lot of people do spiritual marketing, where he did that intentionally because he was going to own his truth in that album, and he wanted his ancestors to know that that was what he was doing so that he could receive those blessings. So for you, I would say it's time to be more vulnerable, and your ancestors agree with me, honey. I get my, this is me, I'm fine.
How much more but
no, but this is a good start. The I Come With Baggage series, look, the publicist and me jumping out. The I Come With Baggage series is a great start, but I always tell you all the time, like Crystal, and I be telling Shalonda about it too, but like you have a very, very powerful spirit, and you have not, personally, you haven't owned your story just as much as you can. You're a source. Like you've given, like this I Come With Baggage series is a great start. Beautiful, mwah. But your story is so effing powerful, and I tell you that all the time. This is a great start. But your power, your beauty, the beauty and the purity of your spirit, that's why I work with you, because I don't just work with anybody. I can't, God won't allow it. But your story is so phenomenal, and your resilience. You do not share a quarter of yourself with people. And I've been on y'all sources about that, but especially you.
That's true. We had that conversation, I think a couple of days ago when we were going to pitch something. And I said, I watched this webinar and it was talking about, you know, using your story. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I should be using the story of I'm a felon, been to prison, kidnapped at gunpoint, accused of murder. Like, come on now. People look at me, they're like,
as soon as you say that, they're like, what? But it's so like, it's like,
that's my
baggage,
y'all. That's my baggage while we are here.
But she has a beautiful spirit, and the God gave you such this powerful, remarkable story of resilience. That's not for no reason. Like when the people that go through the craziest obstacles, it's because they're so ordained for stuff. And that's you. That's you. That's you, bro. And look, the numbers that's stalking you saying it too. I feel like your ancestors just agree with me, and they on my side. They on my side.
Hey, Joey. Joey wants to know about numbers 1, 2, and 8, please.
Okay, so 111. Look, use that story. Thank you. Tell her. Tell her, y'all. Get her. So it's powerful. It's so much powerful in it. Look, that's deep. Thank y'all. Lay on my side. This the fan. This the tribe. So Joey, 111. If we're talking in reference to the angel numbers, 111 means to keep your thoughts positive. Your manifestation is at an all-time high. And like I referenced a little bit earlier, you know, there's no such thing as good or bad. All that exists is where you place your passion. So if you place your passion in what you don't want while you see 111, that means it's going to manifest like 30 times quicker. But if you place your passion into good things, then it'll manifest 30 times quicker. 222 is for good relationships in business and in love. So when you see that, like if you're coming out of a meeting or if you just went on a date, that's a sign that your ancestors are like, that's the one. Or, you know, or saying like, yep, sign the paperwork. You know, that's a sign from them saying that. And 888 is the infinity number. I just dropped a spiritual thesis about it. So you can go to madisonj.com under thesis and theories. And you can definitely look it up there and see what it's all about, because it breaks down. And there's some content on my page about it too. What's your numbers? So there's some content on my page. I created some infographics where you can write it down. I also, in the thesis, I broke down like what different life path numbers mean, because that also plays into it.
Okay, we got 514.
514. So your ancestors are all around you. I don't think you're requesting things from them enough. So they're trying to get your attention. It's kind of like, hey, girl, you ain't talking to us. We wanted something to do over here, like the starting five, like if you think of basketball. Then 111, your manifestation is very powerful.
Basketball.
And then 444, like own your truth. I feel like you're gonna meet LeBron today. I just felt that when I said that. I don't know what it's for, but one day, like within the next 3 years, you're gonna meet them. Get into charity work too, because that's what I'm picking up on for you when I see those numbers. There's something with charity work that you're supposed to be doing. Not sure what it is, but you will meet LeBron. I don't know what it's for though. I don't know everything. I'm always honest about that. But when I see something, I say it. That's powerful.
If they say in the airport, if you see something, say something.
So yeah, ask your ancestors for help, especially when it comes to finances. You're not requesting from them enough, but only talk to your ancestors who were successful with finances. But when it comes to finance,
hold it. I think you hit something right there. Did you hear what she said? She said finances.
Mm-hmm. My ancestors help me all the time. Like, I ain't no shame in my game. I give God the credit, and it's kind of, I don't want to make it a reference like this, but they're like if you want to, like, things in life always come from an ideology that's created in life, always comes from somewhere. The concept of Santa Claus and the elves, that is the perfect example of how God and your ancestors work. But the ideologies all come from somewhere, and I like to talk sometimes, like some of my thesis I'll make with childhood cartoons or use references like that, because subconsciously what I'm doing is I'm giving therapy and I'm healing people's inner child, because then the inner child starts to smile when I'm making references, kind of like how you just started laughing when I said Santa, but subconsciously I'm helping people heal their inner child when I do that, because that's where the key of happiness comes from. Everything's psychological with me.
Yeah. So any rituals, like you tell me things to do, like, you know, tea in the morning, first thing in the morning with cinnamon in the tea. Can we give folks something to take away into the new year?
So let's start there. I already got one, it's like broken up a little bit, but the cinnamon in the tea. So cinnamon, I put cinnamon in all my food. It helps attract money. Cinnamon is perfect. If you drink coffee or tea, just get like some cinnamon sticks like this, and you just want to put it in your tea or your coffee in the morning. Also, I put sage, the seasoning sage. I put that in all my foods, and I also put turmeric. Turmeric is going to help you with your solar plex chakra, and sage is going to, like how if you burn sage in the house, excuse me, that's the same what cooking sage does to the body. So it's cleaning the negative energy out of the so those would be 3. Let me give one more. What else I got over here? Sage, cinnamon, let's go. Oh, black seed oil. So what can I grab? So black seed oil, I use some of this because it also helps with like clarity. But if you take a teaspoon of black seed oil, but again, I'm not a doctor. I always have to tell people that. I don't know what's going on in your body. So a lot of the time I tell people to take lists or information that I give and take it to your doctor who knows what's going on in your body, because everyone's health is different, right? So take this list, and like if I put out a bunch of herbs out, sometimes I'll do that. But I just froze. But take the list. Can you hear me, Crystal?
Yes.
Okay. But take the list that I'm.
Now I can't.
But take this list to your doctor. Okay. Testing. Hey, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I cover myself with the blood of Jesus. All right. This message is getting out there. The information that I give you, take it to your doctor and say, which one works best for my body type? That's how, because I'm a spiritual journalist, I take my work very seriously. And I told you guys, even with like my medications consultant agency, I have to help my clients with their spirituality, because you can't make money and walking your purpose if your spirit ain't right. So I kind of do both. But take the list, take the information, ask your doctor, like if black seed oil is good for you and things of that nature, because I don't know what you're allergic to. I don't know those things, but I can tell you that this is the place. These are the information I were giving you is the place to start.
You got some numbers dropping down. You got some numbers dropping down in the comments.
319 growth for you. Okay, here we go. I'm about to get into full reading mode. You're too hard on yourself. I want you to start thinking more positively. You've been very, very hard on yourself. I'm not sure if it's a person or if it's in business, but you're also about to enter a new phase into your life. It's a new cycle. So whatever no longer serves you, just let it go. Don't try to hold on too long, or else you're going to get drugged. But just be open to the releasing, because once you surrender to the universe, there's new things, places, and experiences that are going to pour into your life. But also stay optimistic about things when you have tower moments, because there's always there's a beautiful blessing that's going to come after it. In order to cleanse you out, like in order to fill you up, you have to be cleansed out. For you, I would recommend the throat chakra, and then I'm picking up on the root chakra. Focus on those two for the next 2 months, because you need more balance and stuff in your life.
I don't think we touched on the chakras too much. Can you just tell people what they are real quick?
Okay.
Yeah, just tell people what they are real quick.
Okay, real quick. So the chakra system are the 7 energy sources in your body. So each one is connected. They are the connectors of the mind, the body, and spirit. Everyone's always talking about feng shui, mind, body, spirit. And the first chakra that I actually got into was my third eye, which is where my bindi is. I think it's probably the most popular chakra. So my third eye was my anchor chakra that led me into all of them. And of course, I got really into studying my crown chakra when I was healing from depression. I started opening that. So the 7 chakras are the crown chakra, which is located at the top of your head. There's the third eye, there's the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plex chakra, the sacral chakra, and then the root chakra. Each one is a different color. So just tying it back into the original topic of depression, the crown chakra. So when 2 people at work, right, get into an altercation, what's the first thing that the boss says to somebody, right? It's take a walk. Why does the boss say that? It's because subconsciously, what heals the chemicals in your brain are connected to the crown chakra. By being out in air, being in nature is what heals the crown chakra, which increases the dopamine in your brain, which then either helps stimulate happiness and joy, or it could, if you don't have enough of it, it can give you anxiety and depression. So healing from depression and anxiety, being out in nature and taking walks. And think about it, when that person comes back, they actually feel better. It's because they have opened their crown chakra. The third eye is for your wisdom. The throat chakra is for communication, giving and receiving messages. The heart chakra is for love. Of course, it's pretty obvious. The solar plex chakra is your intuition, aka that gut feeling that you have. The sacral chakra is for your divine creation. It's located in our genital areas. Then the root chakra is for your balance. I break it down in less than 2 minutes. I did a TED talk in 2019, and I break down the chakra system. So, and what foods help heal them. Again, ask your doctor what foods are good for you, but it's all, foods that do help those chakra, but everybody's body is different. Yeah, that's just breaking them down. So there's different crystals that can help. There's different meditations that can help. There are different foods that can help heal it. So all of these things, like when I talk about my baggage, which I have a lot of, and we all do, and you could kind of tell, I'm like, overall, I'm not always happy. No one's always happy, but overall, you could tell my spirit is at peace. And chakra work, crystal work, all of these things that I'm giving to you guys are ways that I have healed my soul and walked into divine happiness. And even when I'm having low moments, I'm able to attract a good friend, or I'm able to heal myself so that I'm not mirroring to make people run away from me, because that happens a lot too, where you're not dealing with your own trauma, so you project and then you lose. So I'm able to have that vulnerability with people that I care about, because I'm in a consistent state of healing. And also spirituality and healing, it's not something that stops. It is a lifetime process.
That's right. Yep.
Wow, you're so
we're gonna take one more, because I could keep you here all night. But let's get the good vibes know about 617.
617. Okay. Alchemy. You're an alchemist. You're not tapping into your abilities enough. Start turning that darkness into light. I do see something with writing for you. I may want you to go ahead and try to take this course with Crystal. Start enhancing your writing, because you're supposed to write an extremely powerful piece. I'm not sure what it's about, but it's seeming to me like it's a series. This is also the beginning of a new chapter of creation. Creation is really big for you, but keep your thoughts positive. Talk to Crystal sidebar to see what the writing course that might be best for you in your unique situation. But there's definitely something there with you in writing and alchemy. So I'm not sure if you take your life story and turns it into like anime characters or a cartoon, but there's something there with you in writing, something that's going to make you a lot of profit. But you gotta, keep up the good work, but start a little bit more. But it's a creative way of writing. I'm not sure what that looks like though, but it's something creative. Talk to Crystal sidebar after this and see what you guys can do together as far as helping you get that story out, because it's powerful.
Well, Madison, this was super amazing. I'm always intrigued about the talk. I'm like, all right, what else I need to get? What I need to get? You telling me, get this crystal, put it at your front door, put this in your office. I'm like, okay, what else I need to do? Because I'm doing it.
Right.
So it was great. I hope people really took the time to learn some things, because I'm learning from you every single day. I love it.
I love you, Crystal.
It just exposed me to a whole different world of spirituality. And I'm loving the journey that we're on. So do you have anything you want to leave people with, or any parting words before we get up off of here?
Now what I'm about to say, Crystal. Do you know? Can you guess it? What I'm about to say?
What you about to say?
Guess. Just one guess. I'm childish.
You're not getting ready to leave them with Tupac. You wasn't getting ready to say that, was you? Tupac
but seriously, okay, I'm very childish. Okay. Find good friends, be a good friend, heal, and naturally look Shalonda be knowing because she know where he be at too. Why y'all getting me started? I just calmed down. I just Tupac. Look, they agree with me, Crystal. They agree. But you are worthy. You're worthy of love, and be yourself. Like, because you're so unique, and you will attract all things that are uniquely ordained for you, whether that's business, love, friendships. Like, you're worthy. You're worthy of the beautiful feelings that come during and after the healing process. And when you look back on your life, you'll be able to see the evolution of your journey, and you are worthy of what that feels like. Hey, we got somebody in here from China. I mean, what? Look at the writing. Like, okay, you are worthy wherever you are in the world. Crystal about to make me start acting silly, y'all. But you're worthy. You're worthy of love no matter what walk of life you come from, no matter what you've been through. Heal, be vulnerable. Vulnerability is medicine. And honestly, my pain ain't free. So whatever that is, if it's a podcast episode, if it's a book, if I'm going through something, if I'm going to make a profit off of it. Hello? Can I get an
I keep telling people that, but they don't hear me though.
I got your back, Crystal. I got your back.
That's why I'm teaching people how to write. Like, turn your pain into profit. They don't hear me though. Like,
oh, we need that on a t-shirt.
I never say everybody has a story to tell. I always say everybody has a story to sell. Like, whoa, people just sitting on these stories and everything. It get a little profit on you.
Y'all not even getting paid. Hello. We don't go over here in our tribe. Hello. In this tribe, we don't just go through pain. We find out a unique way to sell it.
That's right.
Y'all better get with it. We don't have pain. It's not free.
Pain is an automatic paycheck.
No, but for real, we serious though. We laughing, but
yeah, we serious.
We serious.
They don't hear me though.
Oh no, they do hear you. We gonna check. Nah, they hear you. They receive you and sign up to
receive that.
And receive it right at thecreativeuniversity.com. Figure out how to really turn your pay into profit. Because at the end of the day, and if you're working with Crystal, like, it's not just, one course and go. Like, literally, you have access to her soul, and she really pours into people. She pours love, and she's a source. She pours love into you. So if you're going to write your story, if you need somebody to pull that creativity out you, it's her. Drop the microphone. You see the microphone? It's being dropped.
And out. Well, okay, my love, thank you so much for sharing your baggage with us, educating the people, and getting us off to the right start for 2021 so that we can live in our purpose, accept that abundance that's coming our way, and all the blessings. Yes, honey.
Yes.
Yes, honey.
Yes. And my friend is in here from the Bahamas, too. I want to make sure, because he said we hear you. So, yes.
Oh, hey, Bahamas. Yes. Yeah, so yeah, I'm super excited. I know people are gonna ask. You may have to go in the comments and drop a couple of crystals down in there for people to get. I know I'm gonna get my list from you. Joey, you're welcome. Yeah, guys. So this is it. We're gonna see you guys again on Saturday. We're gonna have a sip and social in Sicily. Thank you, Shantia Yink Inc. We appreciate that. So I'm gonna holler at you, but guys, yes, join us on Saturday for Sip and Social in Sicily. All the information is on the page. We want to travel to Sicily. We're gonna sip our wine and have some cheese and have a great time. Such a wealth of information. Give thanks for this exchange. See you Saturday. Yes, Joey. See you Saturday. We'll be there. Madison, I have to talk to you about Saturday.
Okay.
But yes. Yes, so Madison, won't you just shout out? We have a few weeks of great people coming on. I know we have Faison. We have him coming.
Faison, that's gonna be funny.
Listen, we vibed like right away, and we found out that we are both Leos. Okay, I don't know how that live might go. Because I'm gonna tell me and him, we was kind of off the chain a little bit. I'm
right.
like,
I
we might have to hold
will
back.
definitely.
His manager might be like, no.
No. I'm gonna be there too, being technically both of y'all publicists. I'm gonna be right there for damage control. I got y'all like, wait, sending text messages like, okay, like we know how I am. We have Sheree coming on. We have, who is that? There's people in here. Hey.
Hey, Amaya.
We have a lot of, there's a lot going on, even with the tour. There's London, there's Canada, we didn't even touch on the tour that way. Oh, that
Madison,
much.
Put your IG info in the chat.
Okay. We have some.
You breaking all up. If she can't get it on there.
It's huge. What? Am I frozen? Yeah.
You're back.
Yes.
You're back.
I don't know what you last heard, but there's so many people lined up and so many amazing tour guides from all over the world. We're even in the works of getting something done in Bali. So it's going to be for the for this series. We have a lot of things planned. So if you guys want to catch up with the pages, because I'm going to be navigating there. Y'all can catch me there too. So Creative Fridays University and the Fly Travel Line. Like follow those pages, like if anything, because that's where y'all can catch me at too, because we going to Sicily. You feel me?
All right, love. Well, I'm hopping on another call. I thank you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna post this and go in the comments and drop some crystals down in there so people can get for the 2021. And I just feel so honored that my name is Crystal, honey.
I told you powerful, so you about to.
Yes,
we're gonna be here for 3 hours. I told you are powerful, source. Y'all, she not listening to. Y'all want to get out again for me? Y'all want to get her again? Cause she's starting again. Like, cause you powerful. That's why your name Crystal. Okay, Madison, calm down. She understands. I'm going to meditate. Call me. Alrighty. I adore you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
You too. Bye. Thanks everybody for watching. This will be up on the page. Hey, Allison. Day 2 of my fast is going really good. Keeping busy so I don't break my fast. But okay. All right.
Good night.
Good night.